Well, it's been quite a weekend. It's been very hot here. I'd love to know what the weather pattern's been like in your neck of the woods. Let us know where you're chiming in from. It's always exciting to hear from friends. So we've got a lot going on in the cottage garden here. I just wanted to point out some things that are real survivors of the heat. You just cannot believe how hot it's been lately. And I think it's been that way all over the country. This is one of my favorite flowers. I just want to go in a little more closely so you can see it. This is Hyssop Blue Fortune, and it has withstood the heat like you cannot believe. And there behind it is a beautiful Rudbeckia, or the black-eyed Susan. This is such a great perennial. Both of these are fantastic perennials. As you can see, they're good bed companions in that they're flowering together. They love the heat, they love full sun. It's a great combination. Now, in the past, we've talked a little bit about the Gloriosa daisy, which is not really finishing up. You can see that I've been out here watering, and so it's a little soggy and has fallen over just a little bit. But look at the size of those flowers. And I'm going to save the seed because this has been a spectacular example of the Gloriosa daisy. It has bloomed for over a month. So we're going to cut those back and they'll rebloom again. But I just wanted you to see those. You can see these big seed heads here. I'm going to take those petals, those ray petals off, and dry that and save the seed. And it's just such a great perennial, just a great perennial, and we'll plant those next year. And over here you can see one of our tutors is covered with a vine. It's growing beautifully with this ornamental gourd, which will be fun for the fall. And there's the hyssop in front of it, and then a little bird bath. And this is Nicotiana, or flowering tobacco, incredibly fragrant. They always grow it from seed. It's a volunteer that's just come up, and there's again our friend Blue Fortune Hyssop, which is really fantastic. I mean, this was one plant planted this spring, and just look at the growth and the flowering on it. These tutors add a really nice element in this small garden, and we're going to make a walk around here to the other side in front of the potting shed. I've got my water running because it's been so dry. I've been having to give some of these containers a little extra dose of water, and I'm going to show you an example of Sunpatiens in just a moment. You won't believe. But first I want to go over here and show you this bed. In this raised bed we've got lavender, and in the back a wonderful tall-bearded iris called Immortality. And here is the pincushion flower. It is such a beautiful perennial, and it has been blooming since March of this year. Next to it we've got powwow white echinacea, and it's just now beginning to set seed. You can see here this one, the ray petals have shriveled and they're beginning to dry, but that seed head itself I think is so beautiful. This is where its name comes from, echinacea, that spiny seed head there. But this particular variety has been really good. It doesn't get too tall, only about a foot in height, and it's a great rebloomer. So this is a really good coneflower, and the pollinators love it. And I wanted just to show you this. This is one of the newest plants out, called Grand Cascade. Look at the size of the bloom on this. It's just absolutely incredible. I love its pale, soft lavender color. This is a butterfly bush called Grand Cascade. And this is the lavender one. And I planted 3 small plants you can see down here, and they are already, this one is already 3 feet tall, and you can see the blooms are almost a foot long each. So it's really quite an extraordinary butterfly bush. All right, so we're going to move along. I've got salvia planted here, which loves the heat. And the lavender, many of you love lavender, and who could blame you? I mean, what a great herb. Wonderful aroma. This one is called Provence, and I've found it to be the best for our part of the world. We're in zone 8A. And in this bed, I worked in a lot of sand and lime and gravel, so it drains very, very well. And this lavender has been performing extraordinarily well through the entire summer. All right, so let's move out of this little potager garden and take a look here. I just want to give you an example of some of the things that we're doing. This is a long view here into the fountain garden. And I've been experimenting with Sunpatiens, and you can see about 3 hours ago I watered this plant. Now, before that, I had let it become dry and it looked like this. So it had withered, and in 3 hours it completely recuperated. So now that I am able to show you the difference, I'm going to give this one a big, deep soak of water. Makes all the difference, and they'll come back to life. It's just, they're absolutely extraordinary. We love using Sunpatiens for that very, very reason. And just a matter of 3 hours, it'll spring back to what you can see here in this container. I'm not sure if many of you grow Sunpatiens or not, but it's been so hot here, it's faded some of the flowers. But look at how strong this plant is, and how well it's holding up to the heat, particularly having wilted. Over here we've got our friend the Hyssop. Has a wonderful aroma of anise, relief, or licorice. And there's a wildberry echinacea in flower there, and a little bit of lantana. We're just going to take a look through here into the fountain garden. This is just a river rock that we use as the gravel. And here you can see the white terenia, or wishbone flower. It's called the wishbone flower because just inside that bloom there's a little structure that looks like a wishbone. But this garden is very delightful to spend time in. I find it mainly because of the sound of water. Just a little water is a long way. And we've got these tree roses in them, as you know, we featured in the past. And then these are Louisiana Iris that are growing in the standing water here in the fountain. Just want to point out the blue chiffon hibiscus. This is the Rose of Sharon. And last year this bloomed until the very last day of August. The very last flower bloomed in the first day of September. It was really quite extraordinary. Seeing lots of friends showing up. Good evening, everybody. So happy to see you. We're just making our garden walk. See, Patrick Green has joined us. Hello, Patrick. That bird triplet. I put some white Sunpatiens in here. You can see in this full sun garden they're doing extremely well. So just back off here so you can get a little broader view of the garden. So we're going to move to the west through another arbor. There's a pair of these arbors through this boxwood. Need to do a little trimming here. I just want to show you how my daylilies are still blooming. I featured these a couple of weeks ago, and these are a part of my daylily breeding program, and these things are, this one has got to be 7 feet tall up here. So, and they're very fragrant. I wish you could smell them. They're just fantastic. And I like this color. I'm just curious what you think of the color yellow. What do you think of this flower? Is this a color you would use in your garden? To develop these very tall daylilies because I think they look so good in the garden. They're so statuesque and they move in the breeze. Also, they're great for planting with native grasses, some of the ornamental grasses. And these have very strong scapes on them, and these have all gotten kind of bound together, but you can see the bud count on them. And these are the little seed pods here from my crosses that we've done, and so I'll save the seed out of these and germinate those, and we'll see what happens. Lots of things blooming here at the cottage. There's our friend the hyssop. If you're not growing it, you should. It's such an easy plant to grow. Here's some more of the Grand Cascade Butterflybush, and behind it are cardoons and a dark grass, beautiful one called Black Prince. Persicaria is in bloom here in the foreground, some of the native grasses, and then some roses in flower here, and then this is the old-fashioned PG hydrangea. Who doesn't love hydrangeas? So it's a classic for this cottage, which was built in 1905. This takes full west sun, so you can see this is a hydrangea that really can tolerate the heat and the sun. It's one that I recommend. One of the improvements on old PG, that's P-E-E-G-E-E, is one called Limelight. But this one grows to a great height, and you can see there's just no end to the number of blooms. And we cut this back to this beautiful sort of gnarly stalk in February, and it produces lots of new shoots, and at the end of every new shoot is a bloom, and that's what you're seeing here on this very warm July evening. All right, well, I thank you all for joining us. I can hear the thunder rumbling in the distance, which is music to my ears. We could use some rain. Love to see some photographs of your garden. Send photographs of your pictures. We'd love to see them, and thanks for sharing. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. All right, that's all for now. Bye-bye.